ExamPrep.School. Missouri Title Agency Qualified Principal Insurance Exam, Exam Code 59. There are 6 practice exams in this series. This video covers Practice Exam 1. The first 20 questions are free. In this video, we will be covering the following major categories for Practice Exam 1. Director of Commerce and Insurance, Legal Descriptions, Licensing and Producer's Legal Responsibility, Marketing Practices, Methods of Transfer to Conveyances, Missouri Title Insurance Laws and Regulations, Real Estate Ownership, Rights and Interests, Title Insurance Policies, Title Insurance Terms and Concepts. Let's walk through the format. I'll read each question and its choices. Let's get started. Question 1. Under Missouri Title Insurance Practice, a title insurance commitment. A. Constitutes the insurer's conditional offer to issue a title insurance policy upon satisfaction of specified requirements, and is not itself the insurer's coverage instrument. B. Becomes an enforceable insurance policy immediately upon issuance, obligating the insurer against covered risks before closing. C. Provides full indemnity for covered title defects from the commitment date until recordation of the deed even without issuance of a policy. D. Supersedes the preliminary search report and serves as the binding insurance contract throughout the transaction. A countdown circle appears in the top right. Once it completes, the answer is revealed. You can pause at any time if you'd like longer to think. If you'd like additional practice covering more topics, see the description for our book. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is that the commitment is a conditional offer, outlining the terms and requirements under which the insurer will issue the policy. It does not itself function as the policy or provide coverage until the actual policy is issued. Reason B is not correct. A title insurance commitment does not operate as immediate coverage. It only sets conditions for the future policy. Reason C is not correct. Indemnity for title defects begins under the policy, not the commitment itself. Reason D is not correct. The commitment does not replace the search report or act as the binding contract throughout the transaction. Question 2. Precision Title Agency appoints John Miller as its title agent to perform searches, issue commitments, and collect premiums on behalf of Bold Title Insurance Company. Under Missouri law, which best describes the distinction between John Miller as a title agent and Bold Title Insurance Company as the title insurer in this operation? A. The title agent underwrites and assumes liability for covered title defects, while the title insurer acts solely as an administrative agent. B. The title agent sets rates and forms to be used in policies, while the title insurer appoints agents and settlement officers to abstract titles. C. The title insurer underwrites risk and indemnifies losses. The title agent solicits business, collects premiums, and issues commitment documents on behalf of the insurer. D. The title insurer provides escrow and closing services, whereas the title agent focuses exclusively on state regulatory compliance. The correct answer is C. The title insurer is the underwriter that evaluates and assumes risk, issuing policies and indemnifying losses, while the title agent acts as an intermediary by marketing the insurer's products, collecting premiums, and preparing commitments on the insurer's behalf. Reason A is not correct. This incorrectly swaps roles by making the agent the underwriter and insurer the administrator, which does not reflect Missouri law. Reason B is not correct. Setting rates and policy forms is the insurer's responsibility, not the agent's. Reason D is not correct. Escrow and closing services may be provided by agents, but the insurer does not primarily offer those services under Missouri law. Question 3. Precision Title. Agency appoints Maria Lopez as its qualified principal responsible for supervising agency operations at its Missouri branch. Under Missouri law, which of the following supervisory responsibilities must a qualified principal assume for the agency's title operations? A. Overseeing the adjustment of title insurance rates and premium filings with the state. B. Supervising agency operations, including escrow account management, record retention, and compliance of staff licensing. C. Underwriting title insurance policies and determining specific coverage amounts. D. Handling investigations by the Director of Commerce and Insurance and imposing regulatory sanctions. The correct answer is B. A qualified principal must supervise the agency's daily operations, including ensuring escrow funds are handled correctly, records are retained per regulations, and that all producers and staff maintain required licensing and education. Reason A is not correct. Rate filings are the responsibility of the insurer, not the qualified principal of a title agency. Reason C is not correct. Underwriting and coverage determinations are made by the insurer, not supervised by the agency's qualified principal. Reason D is not correct. Investigations and sanctions are enforced by the director, not directly handled by a qualified principal. Question 4. In the context of Missouri regulations for title insurance premiums, which of the following best reflects the primary statutory objective of insurers' required rate filings? A. To allow insurers to adjust premiums to reflect market competition without prior approval. B. To provide state oversight ensuring title insurance rates are adequate, not excessive, and non-discriminatory. C. To establish uniform closing procedures for all title agencies operating in Missouri. D. To mandate that agencies disclose all policy endorsements to consumers before closing. The correct answer is B. This option is correct because Missouri law requires rate filing so regulators can review and approve rates to ensure they are adequate, not excessive, and non-discriminatory for consumer protection. Reason A is not correct. Insurers cannot adjust rates without prior approval. Filings exist to subject proposed rates to regulatory review. Reason C is not correct. Rate filings concern premium approval, not the standardization of closing procedures. Reason D is not correct. Disclosure of endorsements is governed by consumer protection rules, not rate filing requirements. Question 5. Under Missouri regulations, how must a title agency document title insurance premium charges on a closing statement? A. Omit detailed premium information and refer the consumer to the policy commitment for rate details. B. Group all premium charges under a general settlement cost header without separate detail. C. List the title insurance premium as a separate line item, showing both the gross premium and any credits in accordance with the approved rate schedule. D. Show only the agency fee on the statement and include the premium amount in a footnote. The correct answer is C. This option is correct because Missouri rules require title agencies to show the gross premium and any credits or adjustments as separate line items on the closing statement following the approved rate schedule. Reason A is not correct. Detailed premium amounts must appear on the statement itself rather than just in the commitment. Reason B is not correct. Premium charges must be itemized separately, not grouped under a generic heading. Reason D is not correct. The premium cannot be hidden in a footnote. It must be shown as a distinct line item. Question 6. At closing, a Missouri title agent provides the buyer with a breakdown of costs, including a title insurance premium and a settlement service fee. Which statement correctly distinguishes the title insurance premium from the settlement service fee? A. Title insurance premiums are set by state regulations and cannot be negotiated, whereas settlement service fees are typically negotiated and not subject to state-approved rates. B. Title insurance premiums are negotiable between parties, while settlement service fees must adhere to state-filed tariffs. C. Title insurance premiums protect against title defects through underwriter guarantees, whereas settlement service fees compensate for the handling of closing documents and funds. D. Title insurance premiums are charged only to the seller under Missouri practice, whereas settlement service fees are only charged to the buyer. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is that title insurance premiums are governed by state-approved rate filings and cannot be negotiated, while settlement service fees fall outside those regulated rates and are subject to negotiation between parties. Reason B is not correct. This is incorrect because title insurance premiums are not negotiable, and settlement fees are not bound by state-filed tariffs. Reason C is not correct. This confuses the function of each charge by misrepresenting coverage versus service handling. Reason D is not correct. This incorrectly assigns who pays each charge. Payment responsibility is not strictly divided by buyer or seller. Question 7. A homeowner in Missouri refinances their existing mortgage and requests a reissue rate for the lender's title insurance policy. Under Missouri regulations, when is the reissue rate for a refinanced title insurance policy applicable? A. When the named insured on the new loan policy is identical to the insured on the original policy, regardless of the time elapsed since the original issue. B. Only if the refinance occurs within 90 days of the original policy date and the original owner's policy remains in effect. C. Whenever the amount of the new loan does not exceed the outstanding principal balance of the existing mortgage. D. Only when both the title insurer and lender agree to apply the discount in writing before closing. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is that Missouri allows the reissue rate for a refinance policy when the named insured remains the same as on the original policy without imposing a time limit. Reason B is not correct. This is incorrect because Missouri does not impose a short time window or require the original owner's policy to remain active. Reason C is not correct. This incorrectly links the reissue rate to loan amount rather than to insured identity. Reason D is not correct. This wrongly suggests that insurer and lender written consent is needed for the reissue rate. Question 8. Under Missouri law, within how many hours after receipt of a written request for title insurance must a title insurer provide an itemized statement of title insurance charges to the applicant? A. 72 hours. B. 12 hours. C. 48 hours. D. 24 hours. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is 24 hours, as Missouri's title insurance regulations require a title insurer to furnish an itemized statement of title insurance charges within 24 hours of receiving a written request. This disclosure ensures that consumers are informed of all costs in a timely manner before closing. Reason A is not correct. Allowing 72 hours would delay disclosure beyond the statutory 24-hour deadline. Reason B is not correct. Setting a 12-hour timeframe is too short and is not supported by the statute's 24-hour requirement. Reason C is not correct. A 48-hour period exceeds the 24-hour window mandated under Missouri law. Question 9. During a residential closing in Missouri, a title agency provides the buyer an itemized settlement statement showing separate line items for title search, document preparation, escrow fees, and title insurance premiums. Which outcome is most directly achieved by this detailed settlement disclosure in reducing potential misunderstandings about title charges? A. It mandates the escrow agent to refund any surplus funds uncovered during closing. B. It enables the buyer to verify each fee against the title commitment. C. It allows the lender to adjust the loan terms based on disclosed fees. D. It eliminates the need to send a separate title insurance commitment to the buyer. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is the one that directly links detailed itemization to the buyer's ability to cross-check fees with the title commitment, thereby preventing misunderstandings about individual charges. Reason A is not correct. Refunding surplus funds is a post-closing adjustment and not the primary purpose of detailed fee disclosures. Reason C is not correct. Lender loan term adjustments occur independently of how the title agency itemizes closing fees. Reason D is not correct. A separate title insurance commitment is still required by Missouri law regardless of how fees are disclosed. Question 10. A Missouri title agency receives a written consumer complaint alleging that search fees were miscalculated at closing. Under Missouri title insurance regulations, what is the agency's first required response to ensure compliance with consumer complaint procedures? A. Provide a full refund of the disputed search fees within 30 days. B. Acknowledge receipt in writing within 20 business days and begin an internal review. C. Forward the complaint directly to the Missouri Director of Commerce and Insurance. D. Issue a corrected settlement statement and notify the underwriter. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is the one that reflects the regulatory requirement to acknowledge complaints promptly and initiate an internal investigation before any refunds or escalation. Reason A is not correct. Issuing a refund may occur later but is not the first required action under complaint procedures. Reason C is not correct. Escalation to the director is not the initial step. The agency must first acknowledge and investigate. Reason D is not correct. Issuing a corrected statement and underwriter notice comes after the investigation, not as the first response. Question 11. What is the primary purpose of an annual on-site review of a Missouri title agency conducted by the Department of Commerce and Insurance? A. To assess submitted rate filings and adjust premium schedules accordingly. B. To evaluate the agency's marketing materials for rebating and inducement violations. C. To verify the agency's compliance with fiduciary and escrow account record-keeping requirements. And D. To certify that newly appointed title producers meet licensing education standards. The correct answer is C. The annual on-site review focuses on ensuring that a title agency properly manages trust funds and maintains accurate escrow and fiduciary records, which protects consumer funds and upholds regulatory standards. Reason A is not correct. Rate filings and premium adjustments are reviewed through the rate filing process, not during routine on-site oversight of fiduciary compliance. Reason B is not correct. Reviewing marketing materials for rebating issues is handled through market conduct examinations rather than the annual operational review. Reason D is not correct. Licensing education for new producers is verified at the licensing stage and via continuing education audits, not the annual agency review. Question 12. A Missouri title agency's qualified principal is conducting an on-site review of a recently closed residential transaction file. The file includes the title commitment, executed deed, and settlement statement. To comply with core file review requirements, the principal must verify which of the following elements. A. The borrower's complete credit report including credit score and payment history. B. A copy of the buyer's current homeowner's insurance declaration page showing coverage details. C. Documentation evidencing recorded release or satisfaction of all liens and judgments shown in the title commitment. D. A certified land boundary survey delineating property lines and recorded easements. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is documentation. Evidencing recorded release or satisfaction of all liens and judgments shown in the title commitment. Because verifying that all identified liens and judgments have been cleared and properly recorded is essential to ensuring the title conveyed is marketable and free of encumbrances. Reason A is not correct. The credit report is part of borrower underwriting requirements and has no bearing on title defect resolution. Claims adjudication protocols for insurance reimbursements. Reason D is not correct. A boundary survey is only necessary if survey exceptions apply. It is not a universal core element in every title file review. Question 13. Under Missouri title insurance licensing statutes, an applicant would be automatically disqualified from obtaining a producer license if they have which of the following on their record? A. A misdemeanor conviction for reckless driving within the past 2 years, successfully adjudicated. B. A felony conviction involving dishonesty or breach of trust, regardless of when it occurred. C. A civil judgment for breach of contract, specifically related to real estate transactions filed within the last 5 years. D. An unresolved complaint alleging failure to complete mandatory continuing education credits. The correct answer is B. A felony conviction involving dishonesty or breach of trust is expressly disqualifying under Missouri licensing regulations for title insurance producers. Reason A is not correct. A misdemeanor conviction for reckless driving does not meet the statutory threshold for disqualification under title insurance licensing rules. Reason C is not correct. A civil judgment for breach of contract is not categorized as a disqualifying offense for initial licensing. Reason D is not correct. An unresolved continuing education complaint affects renewal compliance but does not bar initial licensure. Question 14. A Missouri title agency clerk discovers that a producer's online 601 license record shows inactive due to a recent continuing education lapse. What must the agency do before assigning title work to this producer? A. Permit the producer to perform administrative tasks, but prohibit execution of any closing or escrow functions. B. Allow the producer to continue under a provisional assignment while they complete the missing continuing education. C. Submit a license reactivation request to the Director of Commerce and Insurance and delay assignment until approval. D. Immediately cease assignment to the producer and reassign the work to a producer whose Missouri license is active. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is that the agency must reassign to an active licensed producer because Missouri regulations prohibit assigning title work to anyone whose license status is inactive. Reason A is not correct. Even administrative or support tasks require an active license when performed under an agency's authority. Reason B is not correct. A provisional assignment during CE completion is not recognized. The license must be active before any title work assignment. Reason C is not correct. Filing for reactivation does not grant authority to accept assignments. The agency must use a currently active license holder. Question 15. According to Missouri regulations, which of these tasks requires a licensed title producer to have a formal agency appointment before performing it? A. Reviewing and organizing title search documents. B. Executing closing documents and dispersing escrow funds. C. Scheduling property inspections and obtaining lender payoff statements. D. Maintaining policy form templates and updating the status registry. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that only executing closings and dispersing escrow funds are title production services requiring a formal appointment under Missouri law. Reason A is not correct. Reviewing and organizing title search files is an administrative function not defined as title production requiring appointment. Reason C is not correct. Scheduling inspections and ordering payoff statements are preparatory tasks that do not require appointment. Reason D is not correct. Maintaining templates and registry updates are support functions outside the scope of appointment-required title production. Question 16. Under Missouri's escrow handling requirements for title agents, which of the following best describes the fiduciary duty owed when managing escrow funds? A. Maintaining escrow funds in a separate trust account at a federally insured institution without commingling. B. Investing escrow funds in high-yield securities to benefit both the title agent and the client. C. Using escrow funds to cover operating expenses as long as they are replenished before closing. D. Holding escrow funds in the agent's general operating account for administrative efficiency. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is that the title agent must maintain escrow funds in a separate trust account at a federally insured institution and must not commingle them with operating funds. This reflects the fiduciary duty to safeguard client funds under Missouri statutes 379.270 and 379.355. Reason B is not correct. Investing escrow funds in high-yield securities would breach the duty to preserve principal and is not permitted under fiduciary requirements. Reason C is not correct. Using escrow funds for expenses, even temporarily, violates the prohibition against commingling escrow with operating funds. Reason D is not correct. Holding escrow in a general operating account contravenes the mandate to segregate client funds in a trust account. Question 17. A Missouri title agency uses a single escrow trust account for all client transactions. Which control most effectively prevents commingling of funds under Missouri regulations? A. Opening individual escrow trust accounts for each client transaction without maintaining a detailed transaction ledger. B. Performing a monthly aggregate balance reconciliation between total client escrow funds and the bank statement. C. Depositing all client escrow funds into a general operating account and tracking balances in a monthly summary report. D. Maintaining a single pooled escrow trust account with transaction-specific ledgers reconciled daily by an independent officer. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is maintaining a pooled escrow account with transaction-specific ledgers reconciled daily by an independent officer, which ensures each client's funds are tracked separately and discrepancies are caught promptly. Reason A is not correct. Opening separate accounts without independent reconciliation lacks ongoing oversight and may still allow errors to go unnoticed. Reason B is not correct. Monthly reconciliation may delay detection of errors and allow temporary commingling before issues are identified. Reason C is not correct. Using an operating account bypasses trust protections and fails to provide client-specific detail needed under escrow regulations. Question 18. At closing, a Missouri title agency receives a certified check from the buyer and then wires sale proceeds to the seller. Which procedure best documents receipt and disbursement of these settlement funds? A. Recording the funds when the bank processes the check and noting the wire transfer in an internal spreadsheet reviewed annually. B. Emailing the buyer and seller confirmation of their funds movements without entering a ledger records. C. Retaining copies of check endorsements and wire confirmations in a file to be reconciled at quarter end. D. Issuing pre-numbered escrow receipts at closing, recording the certified check in the escrow journal, and documenting the wire transfer details in the same journal entry. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is issuing pre-numbered escrow receipts at closing, immediately recording the incoming certified check in the escrow journal, and logging the wire transfer details in the same ledger to maintain a complete audit trail. Reason A is not correct. Relying on bank processing timing and annual spreadsheet review creates audit gaps and fails to meet Missouri's immediate record-keeping standards. Reason B is not correct. Email confirmations alone do not satisfy regulatory requirements for formal escrow ledger entries. Reason C is not correct. Quarterly reconciliation delays documentation and does not provide the timely audit trail required by Missouri regulations. Question 19. Which of the following describes the primary way continuing education supports ongoing competency for Missouri title producers? A. Acquisition of updated knowledge on Missouri title statutes, underwriting guidelines, and ethical obligations. B. Periodical renewal of licensure through completion of state-mandated coursework without reference to practical updates. C. Formation of industry alliances enabling title producers to negotiate service fees collaboratively. D. Accrual of credits that qualify producers for carrier-owned incentive programs or premium rebates. The correct answer is A. The correct answer is because continuing education primarily ensures producers maintain current knowledge of Missouri title laws, underwriting guidelines, and ethical standards. Reason B is not correct. This distractor focuses only on licensure renewal and overlooks the role of CEE in updating substantive professional knowledge. Reason C is not correct. Building industry alliances may occur informally but is not the primary purpose of mandated continuing education. Reason D is not correct. Accruing credits for carrier incentive programs is not a core function of state-required continuing education. Question 20. During a license renewal audit, a Missouri title insurance producer discovers she cannot locate certificates proving completion of the required continuing education hours by the renewal deadline. She is unable to provide this proof to the Director of Commerce and Insurance at the time of renewal. Under Missouri regulations, what must the producer do? A. Submit a written request for a 90-day extension to complete and document the missing continuing education hours. B. Pay a $200 late documentation penalty and submit proof of the completed hours within 90 days. C. Cease all title insurance activities until the missing hours are completed and file proof of completion with the director within 30 days of the audit notice. D. Obtain a conditional license permitting limited title work while completing the deficient continuing education hours. The correct answer is C. The correct approach is to immediately stop transacting title business until the outstanding continuing education hours are completed and the certificates are filed with the director within the 30-day compliance period required by Missouri regulation. Reason A is not correct. This choice is wrong since regulations do not allow a 90-day extension request. The 30-day compliance period is mandatory. Reason B is not correct. This option is incorrect because Missouri does not permit a 90-day submission window or a flat $200 fee. Proof must be submitted within 30 days without a set penalty fee. Reason D is not correct. This option is not allowed because Missouri does not grant conditional licenses for title work pending completion of CE. Activities must cease entirely. Enjoyed this practice test? Tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with a classmate. Got a question we should tweak? Comment below. We read them all. Find full practice exam books in the description or at ExamPrep.School.